Just hit record.
So no, then we'll just it's nice when
Chris,
you're not
just
on
hit
time.
record.
I
Shut
did.
up. Just hit
You
record.
did, dummy.
Let's
It's
go.
just nice because Chris and I just catch up and talk
Music
about
started.
nothing.
Shut up.
So it's just like the show.
We had a funny
Welcome
Jeff,
to
you-
Everyone Racers, a podcast designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture. Whatever kind of LeChamp or track dog you run, SCCA or NASA, we won't discriminate. We even think you drifto hella flush shaky dog guys are all right as long as you drive it hard and built it yourself. Join us each week for tech discussion, tips, tricks, news and notes in the world of low buck racing, and if you can handle it, Chrissy will give you just the tip. I'll be your pit marshal. My name is Jeff. Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
This is Jeff.
and I'm mental. Folks, we are Everyone Racers. Thank you so much for coming back and listening to another fantabulous episode of our podcast. Despite our own best efforts, this is episode 24. I'm a little geeked about it. Chris, what you working on?
Well, we very exciting weekend here. We cleaned the house. Yeah.
It wasn't like any cleaning, though. This was like really deep cleaning, though.
Yeah. We're like going through stuff that you haven't gone through in years and boxes. You say, do I really need these things in this box that has been there for 10 years? That kind of stuff.
So the infamous spring cleaning, if you will.
Yeah, kind of like that. It's
Well,
mostly.
that's cool because spring has arrived in the East Coast.
It was 78 degrees here today. It's
Right,
it's February
the
fake
bike.
out. Yep. February fake out. It'll be back soon. The other thing, we actually, be nice that it was 80 degrees today because it snowed 4 inches over the weekend. And I use that as a good excuse to use my snowblower for the first time in 2 years. And I think our dare I say, dozens of listeners at this point might even care about my Lemony snowblower. This is a 1962 Ariens that I bought off of Craigslist for $100. Now, back in the day, those snowblowers, they were built like tanks, and they didn't have any safety features. Like now, you gotta hold 3 different handles down, and sign waivers before you even use a snowblower. No, this thing.
Yours is built like a Stephen King nightmare story.
Yeah,
It might be.
If you let go of everything, that's how it goes. Like that's when it goes somewhere. You have
Right
to.
into the children's homes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You
Small
have.
dog.
Cat, small dog.
Make
small
sure
dog.
you're standing behind it.
You got to grab handles to stop it. Otherwise, it's just going to keep going forever.
Or sometimes it does keep going. And you
That's
can
true.
stick the stick in it to clean it out while it's churning.
Oh yeah. It doesn't care. It doesn't have safety features. It has danger features. And so the way this is lemony is because I bought it for $100, and it had the old Tecumseh motor on it. And that motor, it wasn't real hard to crank it over on the pull string because it didn't really have much compression left. And the throttle, the carb was a giant mess, so the throttle control is terrible. So I said, the bottom end of this is a tank. The gears are enormous. Like, this is a sturdy machine. Just this motor sucks. So what comes to the rescue? A Harbor Freight Predator 212cc engine with coupon under $100. Okay, so
You don't go for the weak sauce side draft. No. Get the go-kart sized one, didn't you?
yeah. But
Oh,
it's
yeah.
horizontal shaft, the same one they all run. So anyway,
Shame you can't sit on it to like ride it because
I know.
it would just eat your legs while you're doing it. But go ahead, keep going.
They
So
sell like skateboard things that you stand behind it with.
so yank the Tecumseh off, go say, let's see how this one fits up. And wouldn't you know it, the bolt pattern for the block to the snowblower is exactly the same between the
Fits
1962
right
Tecumseh and the Harbor Freight Honda clone.
Chinese retro-engineered.
Yep, it's just the flanges were thicker, so I had to cut the studs off and put new bolts through, but bolted right on. So then I said, all right, well, I got to put this crank pulley on. Let's see if it fits. Wouldn't you know it? Crank pulley slides right onto the shaft of the Harbor Freight motor.
We found
Right.
what Dieter did. We found out what Dieter ended up doing after he designed Wartburgs.
Yeah.
He went to work for Chinese engine
And
manufacturers.
made Harbor Freight engines.
And wouldn't you know it, the location of the crank pulley in relation to the bottom of the motor and everything, exactly the same place. So the same size belt even fit. Like the alignment was right.
Amazing.
It just bolted together. The Honda knockoff Chinese Harbor Freight junk compared to the
Hashtag.
1962 Tecumseh.
They should
Harbor
sponsor
Freight
us.
should sponsor
They
us.
should totally
my
sponsor
gosh.
us.
Predator
Totally
12s
sponsor us.
for all of us.
And this thing works great. It sits for 2 years and it starts with the second pull. So I highly recommend ghetto Harbor Freighting your Arian's 1962 snowboard.
I mean, anything Harbor Freight,
Uh-huh.
as long as you know what you're getting, it's great.
Sure.
All right,
Sure.
that's all I did.
Chrissy, what you working
okay.
on?
I was also doing the cleaning of the third bedroom, third or fourth, whatever. The one Jim's usually sleeps in. It doesn't have cats. It became a very large closet. So we did a really good job on cleaning all of that out. And I'm sitting in a beautiful room that has like 3 boxes against the wall and room in the closets. Fantastic. So we brought a whole bunch of bags and boxes to a place called Opportunity House. And they took a bunch of our clothes, and it was really nice to get it all done. And you can walk down the basement and there's nothing in the floors. It's fantastic.
Are you sitting on anything, or are you just sitting on the carpet?
I'm sitting on the bed.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And then I just the warm weather last couple of days have been fantastic, and a happy belated birthday to my sister Kim. We've celebrated pretty hard on Sunday, so that's about it.
Hey,
Happy birthday,
Kim.
Kim.
Jeff, what are you working on?
So I mentioned last week that I was finishing up the Pinewood Derby cars.
You
Friday.
didn't post pictures.
I didn't. That's right. You know
No.
why? Because I forgot to take them. But that's okay, because I sold them to my wife now. So she Facebook connected me, so I have them now. I will post them right after we're done recording the show, so they'll be up by the time everyone's hearing this. So I finished the Pinewood Derby cars. Friday is the official weigh-in, just like in Vegas. You know, everybody comes out, we weigh the cars, people yell at each other.
Talk a bunch of
fist
smack.
fights.
Stare
Yeah, a
at
couple
each other.
fist
Yeah,
fights.
exactly.
That's like Champ Car.
Exactly. So
They do that.
Right. Yeah. So Friday night, I was actually repair center. So basically, I had to bring all of my tools, and when people showed up with cars that didn't work or wouldn't pass, or their wheels,
It's just like real life.
Did you have the knee pads?
I did not have my knee pads on. We
Awesome.
meet in a medical building, so it's like a meeting room, and I'm like dremeling out Pinewood Derby blocks, creating dust everywhere, and I drilled my hand. It was fantastic.
Did you not pay attention?
No, it's hard because you don't really have like tables or anything. So I was literally like holding a car in my hand, sitting on the floor, like drilling out
Chrissy,
metal.
I think we've got just the tip next week.
Yeah.
Awesome.
No. Don't worry. I have a story later that's going to be just the tip. So we went to the Pinewood Derby on Sunday. As you may remember, I built Jen a car. I built Josh's car. I built my car. Josh's car, terrible. It barely went down. It was like the slowest. He didn't care. He made it cool looking. He's all about it. It was great. He had a great time.
That's great.
Did he have a flat brim hat while he was doing it?
No. It was light blue sheep. You can see the Josh and Dad podcast if you want to learn about that.
Okay.
So
I can't wait. It's my favorite.
Jen's car was after a cartoon character, and in the parent division, a guy had a 3D printed Pinewood Derby car that looked exactly like a last generation Mustang. Literally, it looked exactly like it.
Is that legal?
Yes, it's legal because it just kind of like fits on top of the block. So yeah,
Huh.
it was pretty cool. There's a dad division.
Did it just careenly wild towards a bunch of 3D plastic
no,
printed,
it was
printed like spectators?
It was it looked like just like every other V6 Mustang out there. Looked really great, slow as crap.
Had a hairdresser behind the
Had a
wheel.
hairdresser behind the wheel, yeah. So my Citroën was also moderately terrible. So Jen
Just like
won
the real thing.
Just like the real thing. We're
Was
getting
it
there.
Citroën better?
He made it better, but it was only Citroën.
It was Citroën better. It was Citroën better than the Mustang. Jen won all 4 heats. She walked away with it. We even tried to like screw it up. We like made him go backwards. That didn't help. She still won. We mislabeled the lanes once. It was the only one win I got. It was absolutely terrible. But we had a good time, and everybody ate hot dogs, and the kids had a great time. And the evil Empire didn't win. We have one like hella cheaty parent, and he didn't win. We had somebody else win. So
You had an E30 Pinewood Derby car?
Yeah,
right. Benny 30s.
46.
Okay,
So-
you have more to talk about. Go.
I do. But this is the good part, and I'm going to totally admit that I still had my real live Christmas tree up. That is for the weekend.
It's not alive.
Well, it was dead now.
It's not alive. It's a pile of needles and kindling.
Wow.
So it got thrown out of the back door, and Jen immediately clogged the ball Dyson with trying to pick up the piles of needles.
Yep, we did that.
Yep, did that.
So I got out the shop vac, and I shot back
with your Dysons,
the
man.
entire room, like with the tube, like.
What was it like? Okay.
And it just
Folks,
occurs to me.
it was as much fun for us to watch him do that as it was for you to hear him do that.
It just occurred to me that a shop vac is a better vacuum than any vacuum on the planet, and
Nope.
we should just do our entire lives with a shop vac.
I have a Kirby. It is the domestic equivalent to a black hole, and you can use it for home defense because it's made of iron. I love my Kirby.
I have
It's
heard
the
about
second Kirby I have owned.
Yeah. So,
Right.
and then the only other thing I'm going to mention is that the lights that broke 2 weeks ago, and I had the electrician in.
Yes.
He basically said, "Don't turn that switch because there's no light on that. Like we have some outdoor lights on eaves, and there were like just two wires sticking out." He said, "Don't turn that switch." So we covered it with tape. Don't turn on that switch, right? So we covered it with tape, but we figured we've been flicking that switch on for the 3 years we lived here, and there was never a problem. But either way, I covered it with tape, and I said, next warm weekend, I'll put a fixture on it. Jen called me from work yesterday, and she was like, the lights are out, the lights are out, the lights are out. I said, oh, okay, well, go flip the breaker. She says, well, I did, and Dave and the boys who live next door basically said, hey, what are all those sparks coming from your house?
Oh, shut up.
Which isn't that episode of This Is Us is what launched this entire load-bearing coffee pot unplugging scenario?
So she freaked out. So this morning, before I went to work, I was on the 20-foot extended ladder, and I was wire capping and cutting away broken, burnt wires from my Eve.
Wow.
It's somehow I'm the redneck. How does that work?
So all I have to say is,
because you're from the South.
Just the Tip is not going to be about Pinewood Derby. It could be about electricity. It could be about fire hazards, your dead trees. But yeah,
fine. You'll have to consult me first. But okay.
Mental, what are you working on?
So in Georgia, your birth month is when all of your auto registrations are due because they figure most people just have one car as opposed to car, truck, and RV, and 3 motorcycles. So I was getting all that done. My dad gave me his old bike. I think I talked about that last week, which was originally my bike. And yeah, so I got them all legal and roadworthy. Was out driving around. Now, the text I just sent you, I'd like to call your attention to that picture because I saw Chris look at it kind of weird. Now, I was getting an auto scanner because I've got to get the emissions done on my Mercedes, and I actually had a check engine light, and I want to know what it was. And I saw this Wagner, hashtag they should totally not sponsor us.
Yeah, we don't want that.
Wagner braking ad on the counter. And it says Wagner brakes sooner, up to 50 feet. Now, if you use your 2 fingers and you scroll in on that picture, it will tell you in comparison to other Wagner products. So Wagner is advertising the fact that their brake pads are better than their brake pads.
Yes, apparently the OEX is much better than the organic quiet shops made of wood. Yeah.
And I saw that. I'm like, okay, I gotta bring this up on the show.
That's great.
It actually says that.
Yeah.
It's in the small print. I just scrolled it.
They're bragging about it. This is at the counter at Pep Boys. They're like, hey, by the way, you should buy Wagner's because they're better than Wagner's.
Because some of them suck a little less than others. And that's it.
Can I read this word for word just so everyone knows?
It
says results based on internal testing compared with new Wagner OEX to other Wagner offerings. Internal testing. It's not even like they externally tested it.
No, Consumer
Shouldn't some of
Reports
them be
didn't do
better
this.
than others? Like you have good ones.
Decided they would do that.
That's terrible.
That's amazing, actually. I like it.
Oh my gosh. Mental, what else?
I replaced my 2 garage doors because I mentioned mine. One took me a week. The other one took me 3 hours because I deliberately said, but now they're both fully functional. It's great. They're even way quieter.
Did you have a learning curve or the second was just easier?
Both. I was deliberately taking my time, doing the measurements, making sure of everything, and because you don't want them getting bound up. And then the second one, just because I understood it, went way easy. And I believe that wraps us up, right? So we're moving on to
news and notes. We have so much in news and notes.
Yeah. Buckle up, especially if you're not a lemons person, because we're about to get Wagner ugly up on this.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so AER was at Road Atlanta this weekend.
Yep.
We don't really care who won, actually, just at all.
I do.
Okay, fine. Well, you can talk about who won. I don't care who won. But I did notice that, because I have a whole bunch of friends on Facebook that run with AER, so I noticed that there was a red flag on Sunday on the first lap out, and there was a massive crash on turn 5, and somebody happened to be taping it, and just said, you can't win on the first lap, so let's everybody crash. And then I think somebody spun, and then everybody crashed into them. So pretty terrible. But that's all I cared about, actually.
It's because the F1 scouts were in the stands that weekend. Did you know that?
That's right.
They were standing right next to people that were taping. So, yeah, that's all I got. I don't care. Go ahead, Mental.
Well, and we've all raced Road Atlanta, and I'd like to point out for those who haven't, Road Atlanta Turn 5 is literally the world's most classic late apex turn in. It is a 90-degree banked turn. It is probably turn 6, where they actually all got wadded up, is one of the most simple, basic. It's a great instructing turn, because you really just, how they got that red misty that quick is absurd. But if you watch the video that Jeff's going to put up on the Facebook, on the E1R Facebook page, you'll actually hear the guy say, and the Mustangs are in the lead, which I think is, mainly part of the problem, but it was all Beamers that wrecked.
Yeah. It's really, I think, the easiest corner at Road Atlanta.
It really is.
Yeah.
You can't saying that because you teach people on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So somebody, was it 5 or was it 6? Because I thought they said it was 5.
It looked like 5.
I thought they said it was 6.
5 is where they got out of control. 6 is where they all kind of wadded
up.
They
actually hit.
It wasn't it wasn't the turn onto the straight. It was the one right before that.
Well, right before. Yeah.
Bingo. Exactly.
It's basically a 90.
6 and 7 complex.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to mention, who's blue here? They want to mention who the winners were?
That's
you,
Mental.
Mental, right?
So, I want to give a shout out to Casey Carden. It's a local outfit. It's an arrive and drive, but he's very picky about his drivers. They run Miatas. I've run against them before. My buddy Adam Diamond, good buddy. He's a Skip Barber, Skippy grad, and he ran with them. So they also lost one of their Miatas in the first hour. So again, underscoring that you can only lose in the first lap, in the first hour, in the first turn. But they managed to they placed well both weekends, and they walked away with the first place trophy. So well done, Adam. Well done, Casey Carden.
So I want to mention a few things about the AER gig, and it wasn't about who won. So I just did post the thing there, the video on our page, so everyone can go watch it. It seemed like I read the internet kerfuffle that happened basically on the guy who took it. He posted it, tagged AER, and all of the AER hive brain basically started piling in about 2 feet in, 2 feet in, 2 feet in, and basically, I mean, the whole thing. And I think wherever I posted it, my page or something like that, it really wasn't that he spun and went backwards. It's that he was sideways. People got around him, were getting around him or her. I don't know who's driving. And then he started moving forward to get back onto the racing surface before he was really waved. So cars were still going around him, both around his front bumper and his rear bumper. And he said, well, I guess it's time for the U-turn. And just basically collected a guy. I mean,
and it's the first lap. What do you, dude, what are you thinking? No one is expecting you to do something that colossal on the first lap.
It's also a 9-hour race. Let the entire pack go by and then re-enter the racing surface safely. Chris, go ahead.
I totally know why it happened. It's because his tires were cold because he didn't do that weaving thing back and forth. Because that totally works on street tires. Like, that totally works on an endurance race.
So anyway, I totally blame the guy who spun for causing this. I think 3 cars ended up being wrecked in this. And I have another story about the same race, so should I just keep going? Or is there more?
Please. Yep.
Also, some team brought a bright yellow and blue F458 Ferrari Challenge car and an F455 as a backup.
Yeah.
I just think this is absolutely insane. Supposedly it was a pro crew with factory support. They ended up winning the 9-hour race by 10 seconds, which, hello, what's your problem if you can't beat like hoopty E36s and E46s after 9 hours?
That's not fun.
There was a big discussion.
They're also going to go up against those IMSA Caymans of the Nanomakers.
I didn't really see any. They weren't there.
Salients. They weren't there? Okay,
they weren't
mind.
there. Yeah, no.
There's that C6 Corvette that shows up sometimes, but
there was a C6, but it didn't look like the C6R. It just looked like the C6.
Yeah.
So big discussions on the Book of Face. Either the arms race is out of control or it's totally fine. The slower classes are still totally fine. Your mileage may vary. I just want to mention that they were complaining that there were 3 M235iRs, which I didn't know what it was until I went to BMW Motorsports page. They're basically race versions of the current M235. But there were 10 M3s of different generations, tons of Miatas. There was a Corvette or two. There was a couple of Zs. Plenty of stuff out there. But yes, still a horde of Miatas. So I don't know. Maybe speed differential's a thing. Go, Mental.
And Chris, what do you always say about the abundance of BMWs and AER?
That the douchebag quotient is high?
Well, no, it's just it's where BMW club cars go to die. But now
they totally look like that.
Yeah, I didn't make it out there, but I do run AER, and I'd like to point out this whole thing. It's going to be their problem, but it's not the fault of the AER race organizers. It's just clowns that, here's a series I can win in, and I don't need any talent. All I need is a big wallet. So I'm going to spend a bunch of money. And my buddy Adam, again, who was out there racing, he said the Ferraris were just absolutely terrible. So, what kind of a clown are you, Chris?
But I think it's totally under the control of the series organizers. They know it's shown up. They know how to do this. I think their egos get a little too big for them sometimes, because I remember when they started AER, after they had been running Lemons, they were some of the loudest voices about Lemons being so unsafe because there's a totally unsafe speed disparity between the E36s and the Class C cars like the Rolls-Royce and things like that. And now here they are running their own series where there's a totally unsafe speed disparity between a Ferrari 458, a Corvette C6,
and a Miata. Absolutely.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Pot, kettle,
they know.
hi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually agree with Chris, but I have a little bit different thing. I totally respect all of the series. Like, I don't really have a problem with AER. It's not my gig. Like I said, we run it. I don't mind it. There's Lucky Dog out there. There's all these other Champ. I mean, I'm not upset by them. Go ahead and do and have your fun. I think other groups are having a little bit better keeping the arms race down. So is that AER's fault? I don't know. Maybe it's just because they're East Coast where there's a lot of racing teams showing up. I mean, I don't know. The other thing I wanted to mention is that AER, I got to give it to them. I think their technology is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
The reason I know so
That
much
is
about
true,
who was there is because I still have a login because we have raced with them. And their pages of describing who is in the race literally has all the cars, pictures with the livery, who's driving, every single piece of information that could be found is there.
It is excellent.
I mean, it's excellent. Yeah. So
they used to be really
kudos
good
to John, who's running all that, because I know that's like his thing. The RF tags on the helmets.
Oh yeah, that is. I love that. I do wish that's something Lemons would adopt.
Okay, do you want to talk about
other stories?
Our normal stuff that we associate with Lemons was in Arizona, Arizona D-Bags, I think. This weekend there were only 47 cars this race. It's pretty low, but I guess maybe it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, so people don't really go there. But this is their second race there, I believe. I think we've talked about going there we said it'd be fun to go because it's a track we haven't been to. The only couple people that I could pick out that I knew of was Anti and Sophie running Onset/Tetanus, and they won IOE in their Volvo. Yay! And they were really happy about it. I know Anton was posting on Facebook to say that 11 years ago he won IOE at and this time it was like exactly 11 years ago. Spank had 2 cars there. One of them did just terribly, but I'm only watching Race Monitor, so I don't really know what actually happened. And then GDO Man got a heroic fix. Apparently they just wrenched all weekend. So that's all I could really find. I didn't dig too hard, but it seemed like that's what I know. Chris, go ahead.
I conversed a little bit with Spank before and after this race.
Oh, okay.
He was putting an engine in the moke that last ran in the America when he and I Ironmanned it to a 12th.
Oh no!
We Ironmanned it to a 12th overall in an Austin America like 4 years ago. And he was trying to say to me, "Do you remember like if there's anything wrong with it?" He and I were saying, "Well, I think there might have been like a crunchy synchro, maybe. I don't know. It seemed pretty good." And so then he texted me today and said, "Yeah, we both didn't remember anything. 3rd and 4th gear synchros were gone, and we just left it in 3rd." So
is that the one that was running?
Yeah,
that one did run, and they had
Yeah.
another one that didn't run at all.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame.
it's about normal.
Go ahead, Mental.
So the Yo Man had that Corolla wagon of his out there, and apparently there's all kinds of pictures on the GD Yo Man Facebook page of him careening through, and they managed to find a really good rear end that they thought was a really good rear end. They were crunching that sort of thing, and the Yo Man, as he was hanging with us at Barber, drove his new 911 out there, him and Phil. So I was.
His 11
It's
is
new to him, 911. It is. And I love that he drives it. I love that it's not a collector's piece. It's an appliance, not an appliance, but
It's a car.
He lets it. He fills
Car,
it.
drive
Fills its purpose. Exactly.
Yep.
Yes.
So there's some fantastic pictures of the Yo-Man destruction of the rear end. The pinion gear is just absolutely rounded off, like 0 teeth on it. It looks like an apple on a stick. You have to see it if you get a chance. GD Yo-Man Facebook group, go find it. Left.
Okay.
That's exactly what it's called. Go ahead, Chris. What do you have to say
In other
about
news,
tire?
Dunlop has just released the Dureza Z3. It is now showing on Tire Rack. It's an evolution of the prior Dureza Z2 and Z1. We have run these tires with great success in the past. All of the different generations of them have been quite pleased.
Success!
Exactly.
Hashtag they should totally sponsor us.
Totally sponsor us.
Well, they're not going to be happy with what I'm going to say now. They are really
Hashtag
overpriced now with the Z3. They are overpriced compared to their competitors. I looked it up in the 205 50/15 size. That's what we run in the Civic, and that's the size that just about everybody has. They were charging $147 for the Z3 compared to $104 for the Azenis, $108 for the RE71, $132 for the BFG, and the only place I could find the 11 Series sponsor Yokohama 8008Rs was over on Discount Tire Direct, and they were $157 shipped though.
Oh,
so
gosh.
really, the Z3 is the most expensive of the Arms Race 200 treadwear tires. Let's see how it holds up.
Yeah, that's tough. I like the RE71. I think I'm the only one who still likes that one, right, Chris?
Well, we've never had some, but that's okay.
Did we?
I like them, but we
No,
don't have them.
We've never had them.
What's the
I'm
one
a
that we had on
rivals
the
for
boat
life,
that I
yo.
didn't like?
You didn't like the RS3s.
That
We had those in the Ombre too, and they lasted like a year and a half. They lasted
Yeah.
forever.
they were good on the RS3. I like them. Anyway,
Go ahead.
anything more on this topic before I go to the next one?
Nope, that's
No?
it. New
Okay.
tires.
So the race that we don't watch, the NASCAR.
I actually did watch it.
I did a little bit too. Danica ran her last race. I bring this up because not only because we talk about women in racing, but this isn't a Chrissy story. This is a Jeff story. The last reason for me to turn on NASCAR just retired. I was a Danica fan. I was a Danica fan when she was in
Why?
open wheel. She was a great open wheel racer. She never really produced well in NASCAR, but they paid her 3 times as much to run there.
She
So
was always
why-
a road
you
course
know?
person that got into ovals because of
Yeah.
the engine nonsense.
Hype.
But yeah.
Money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Money. I
Money.
mean, really, it is.
Money.
It's money. And do you blame a professional racer for
Ooh.
going where the most professional was?
That's why Juan Pablo was there.
That's why Juan Pablo was there too, my other favorite NASCAR driver. So I just want to shout out that I guess I won't be watching NASCAR. Competition cautions are the most terrible thing ever on the planet, and I will it's not even racing anymore. But I don't have any interest in any of the driver stories anymore.
It's okay. They
Yeah.
have plenty of other watchers. No
And
problem.
actually, no, they
Actually,
don't.
they
That was
don't.
the whole point with the stage racing is because young folks aren't getting into it, and old folks are like it's a spec series, and it's not as interesting as it used to be. And it's not because of a lack of talent of the drivers. It's just because, you're not seeing the innovation that you saw back in the 80s. And yeah.
Okay, well, no one is watching it then.
It's anti-innovation. But people aren't watching motorsports in general on television. The years that I did watch NASCAR, when Jimmy Johnson was winning just series after series after series, their coverage was fantastic.
Yeah.
If any race series that I ever cared about would cover that well, I would be excited as heck.
Yep.
Anyway.
Keep going.
It's not fair that she crashed because she got crashed into. She was
totally.
Yeah. It was. I saw that and I was like, oh, that just stings.
So last thing I'm going to mention is that this is a drive story. I will post it on the Facebooks. The Mazda no longer considers BMW the ultimate driving machine. They use lots of different things to test bed their cars, performance benchmarks, and they basically said, and this is a direct quote, that the Toyota Camry has booted BMW from its position as Mazda's driving dynamics benchmark. This guy Brown, who's one of their engineers, says, the new Camry is very good, and I don't think that anybody's going to deny that. And frankly, with a few exceptions, BMW's dynamic qualities have catered more towards comfort audiences rather than sports audiences.
It's true. Aside from things like the M2 and things like that, they're going comfy.
To M2 is exactly what he said. Go, Mental.
Well, and I don't deny that BMW is leaning towards more comfort, but I do find it hilarious that they say that the Camry isn't, because for generations, the Camry and the Accord have basically been the car for people who hate cars. They are phenomenal vehicles. They're great cars, but they don't have any quirks. They've kind of just worked to put the personality out of them, and it's gotten to the point where an Accord or a Camry is a status symbol when it used to say, I've given up.
Well, the Accord has always been the sportier and better feeling than the Camry. The Camry used to be pretty tragic, like back in the late 90s, early 2000s, but apparently with Mr. Toyota taking over the helm of Toyota again, he decided to actually wanted to make them feel pretty good. And with a company of the resources of Toyota, if they really want to do it, they can. And every review I've read of the new Camry just said it's really quite impressive.
And I drove the new 4-cylinder Camry at a press release here in Atlanta, and it if anyone asks me what new car should I get, that's the first thing out of my mouth. Oh yeah, go get a Camry. If they're non-car people, get a Camry. You will not be unhappy with it. You will give it to your firstborn child after driving it for 16 years, and you'll love it every minute of it. And it's a great car. And I just drove the 4-cylinder, and it's got plenty of snot, and it's capable, it's competent. They've really worked out the transmission programming on it, and it'll get going. And I hate Camrys. So yeah, that's high praise.
You know what else people are going to love every minute of, Jeff?
Extreme Experience. Extreme Experience is a great way to go. It puts you in the driver's seat of some of the world's best supercars and sponsors your favorite podcast.
Well, I wouldn't go that
far. All right.
A podcast.
They sponsor this podcast. Listen, if you want to drive, be in the driver's seat in over 20 racetracks, coast to coast, no speed limits, no shifting restrictions, and no governors, head to xxspeed.com because Extreme Experience is spelled with 2 X's. You can choose your supercar, you can find a racetrack near you, and you can start making a story of your own. 7 models of exotic supercars to choose from, 20-plus tracks, a year-round location in New Orleans, pro instructors like Chris Mental and myself in the car with you, helping you explore the car's limits and learn how to drive the racing line. Most importantly, save 25% when you use the code EveryoneRacers. That's EveryoneRacers, no space, at xxspeed.com to book today. Extreme Experience, it's your turn. Woo!
Great. How about time for listener feedback? We love listener feedback. It is great stuff.
You know who else we love?
Who's that?
Chrissy's mom.
Whoa,
Hi, Chrissy's mom.
Hi, Carol.
Shoehorned that one in. Jeez.
Yeah. So I had some great feedback over the weekend from a Kurt M, who's previously provided some feedback to us.
He was not a naysayer, but
he had
didn't
some
know
constructive
much.
Feedback for us the last time.
He should eat his own damn Twinkies.
He eats. It's true. We all eat his butt. And Kurt
Keep going.
said, kudos. No, he said, kudos to you all and Jeff. I'm catching up on the podcast, and I'm loving it. P.S. Jeff should ask his college for a refund.
No, I just got to go back for night classes. Podcasting night classes.
Intro to podcasting.
Yes. I'll mention that we got a very, very lengthy message from a new listener, Bill Fisher, and he gave a review. We're going to talk about some of the things that he talked about. He may even be a guest in future episodes. He's basically new to the Lemons world. He is just building his first car with him and his family. Bill, we will be talking to you soon, but his quote was, entertaining for everyone involved or thinking about getting involved with low-dollar racing.
Woo!
Thanks,
Yeah.
Bill.
And thanks, Bill. And and what's great about Bill is he's gotten into this whole thing, and he's bringing the whole family with him, the kids, the wife, everything. That's how you keep a hobby, going. It doesn't become a source of conflict when you involve your family. So good on you, Bill.
And when you are involving your family, this is a good segue to our main topic. You want to make sure that you don't kill them or yourself. Because
See, I was going to say that you don't have any checks and balances when you involve your family, because everything
true.
about spending money on racing is a great idea.
Like,
so,
hey, honey, want to go race with Hamza down in Atlanta? Yeah, okay.
yeah, let's do that.
That's a great
Okay,
idea.
fine.
Hey, sweetie,
Okay,
how about
great.
we buy
different
a?
than the conversation I had.
Okay.
Anyway,
Hey,
Let's
sweetie,
try-
you want to buy a supercar? Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
All right.
Um,
Let's get to the topic.
So you don't want to kill your family. So we're going to talk about an easy way that you can do that, and that's with towing the wrong way. And really, all of us have made some pretty terrible mistakes at towing. So we're going to talk a little bit about the right way to do towing and the wrong way to do towing. Especially Jeff and Mental are going to share some tales of woe. Don't be like them, kids.
No, don't.
First thing about trailer towing is tongue weight. It's the amount of weight that's on the hitch of your truck compared to what's on the wheels of the trailer. Tongue weight matters a lot. There's a great video out there that U-Haul had at some kind of convention where they had a little toy Mustang on a treadmill with a trailer, and they moved a weight from the front of the trailer to the back of the trailer, and they would shift the Mustang over, and with the weight of the back of the trailer, it would almost go out of control because it didn't have enough tongue weight. And I experienced this firsthand a long time ago. I was towing with my 91 Jeep Cherokee, towing a Saab 9000 that I'd put on the trailer backwards because it didn't run. And, of course, it didn't run. And, Jeff, yes?
When the hell
not.
did you have a 91 Cherokee?
I had a 91 Cherokee
Why
for a
not?
long time. It was a great...
No, I'm saying, when did you have a 91 Cherokee? I had a 91
I
Cherokee.
bought it in college, and I kept it until I bought my Land Rover, which is like 2004, 2005. Anyway, I sold it at 245,000 miles on it. I'd upgraded the rear springs with parts of a leaf pack from a 3/4 ton van. I had all kinds of lemony things under that truck to make it work. But anyway, I loaded
Was
the
it a
Saab.
5-speed?
No, it was the automatic. But that was the E1R E24 was a great automatic. But I digress. So I had the Saab on backwards. It's a front drive car. It's a big car. I had it as far up the trailer as I could go, and I was on 40-mile-an-hour roads, mostly where I was going, and then I had to do a brief stretch of highway. I hit 55, and I thought I was going to die because I had I had about 2 pounds of tongue weight, and the Cherokee wasn't exactly a towing stalwart in the first place, especially with a big thing like a Saab on the back. So I felt a little poo come out, perhaps, and got it back under control.
We may be talking to people who don't know what happens when you do that.
Sure.
Basically,
Good.
you had a sway situation.
Exactly. It's the trailer started to sway because it didn't have any stability. There's no wheelbase on a trailer. It's just the two wheels right together. And without any stability, it just starts to wag around. And when it's something that big is wagging around, it starts to wag your truck around. And if you don't,
I'm looking for that video right now. I'm going to post it on our Facebook.
I found it. I'm putting it on our Facebook right now, Chris. Yeah, great minds think alike. No, you're spot on.
It starts to wag your whole truck around, and if you get out of rhythm with the steering, you make it worse, and that's how you end up jackknifing and twisting and rolling over, and all kinds of terrible things happen. So, fortunately, I kept it straight, and the best way to do it when you get a wag situation like that is gently ease off the gas, don't put any big steering puts in, and try to hit your trailer brakes, because your trailer brakes will pull it backwards from the back. It'll load the tongue weight, and it'll actually straighten it out. Like, think about grabbing like a dog by the tail. You're going to straighten him out holding him by the tail, right?
You have never grabbed a dog by a tail.
I say, yeah,
because they turn into the shape of you and bite him.
Well, think about it in a very brief
if we do
moment.
that to a nice cat, they will stop.
That's true.
She won't bite you.
No, and sway is terrifying.
Yeah.
sway, it feels like a giant is pushing the rear end of the car around because a giant is pushing the rear end of the car around.
Mm-hmm.
And you're already too late. You're trying to play catch up.
Mm-hmm.
Every instinct to counter steer is wrong.
You're too late by the point you're doing it. Yeah, if you just kind of almost let go of the wheel, let it kind of ride out, and get on those trailer brakes, just the trailer brakes, not the car brakes. That'll straighten you out and slow you down. You need to get back below threshold speed. So I also want to talk a little bit about the right way to do towing before we get into some of the wrong way to do it. Transmission preservation is a big thing. Heat from towing will kill automatic transmissions.
Oh, yeah, it will.
So one of the biggest things you can do to help that, especially when you're kind of at the max of your tow vehicle, is kick your transmission down manually under light throttle before you get to a hill. So like in my Suburban, I'll be coming up to a big hill with a good load on it. I'll take the gear shift and bring it down from D into third. That'll drop it down to third. The torque converter will lock back up, and then you can get hard on the gas to power up the hill, but you're not slipping the torque converter. You're not making it do a shift under heavy throttle. That's how you keep your transmission temperatures low and keep your transmission alive, because heat will kill it. So be wary of that.
Yep.
Another thing that everyone should do with a trailer is maintenance to avoid having problems on the road. It's all about proactive repairs and carrying spares. So I like to pack my bearings and adjust my brakes yearly. Like usually in the springtime, I'll pull the wheels off, clean all out, pack the bearings, make sure the brakes are good, and get things ready for the year. Check your tires. Your tires and trailers usually just go ignored. It's like, is there air in them? Yeah, okay, good, done. Make sure there's actually tread. Make sure that they're not cupping really badly. Make sure that they actually have enough pressure. Like actually check the pressure, because they fail when they are under pressure and they get overloaded and they flex too much. And when they get too hot, that's when they really fail. So check that out. Check your lights quickly. Keep replacements around, because they always just blow all the time, and they're the crappy little $2 bulb or $1 bulb. Just keep a bunch around. Keep a good quality full-size spare tire along with a spare hub, bearing, brake, lug nut assembly, because when you kick your lug nuts on the side of the road into traffic, right?
I don't know anybody.
After you're doing that, you want to have those things around. So have all those things there ready to go. It's about being proactive in the maintenance and having those parts so you can do things on the side of the road if you need to. So
absolutely.
There you go. I noticed in here that you put don't be like Jeff and actually do trailer maintenance. I do trailer maintenance when I care about my trailers.
Oh yeah.
There's a trailer I own that I just
make
never
me feel
cared
very
about.
good at all. I do not feel good at all, Jeff.
Hey, he looked at it before he gave it to you.
He's coming to your house.
Yeah.
No, actually, I deferred all the maintenance on that trailer because it owed me nothing and I didn't care until I decided I was going to sell it to my friend, and then I did all the trailer maintenance.
And I did the receipts. I'm pretty sure you spent more getting that trailer ready for me than I paid.
I spent in the entire time that I ever owned it. Yes, you're absolutely right. There's a lot of spare parts in the box.
There is.
I don't know who's next because I'm going last.
Chrissy was going to talk a little bit about towing too, from her perspective.
Go.
Okay. Yep, that sounds good. So I don't usually do towing in our house. Chris does that. I got a guy for that. I don't need to do that. Not that I am a girl and he's a guy. Just like I got a guy,
No, you do cooking, not because you're a girl, because you're good at it.
Thank you. And he's better at towing, obviously. He has more experience, but that doesn't mean I shouldn't start and practice. So when we do the towing, I usually help with all of the tie downs and the double checks of all the other things. So when we're hooking up, I have a couple of things of what?
Safety third.
Safety is first, always. So one of these things that I learned by doing it the wrong way is to look at the way the power plug is oriented. So if you're trying to be helpful and plug everything in, and you're saying, why is this power plug does not work? And if you try to shove it in there anyway, it's probably upside down and then messes trailer electronics forever. So don't do that.
Just push harder.
No, that's not the answer, right? So we know that now.
Get hammer.
So there's another issue that happened twice, and we swear this will not happen again. So the first time this happened, our friends in an RV are behind us, and then we're driving home from a great weekend. A great racing weekend. We're all happy, and after 20 minutes of driving, everything's fine. And then all of a sudden, all of them are calling and texting us frantically, and they said our ramp is falling out. So we pull over, and it had not already made it all the way out of the trailer. So we put it back in, and then we realized that we didn't actually put the pin in that holds the little door closed. So we said, okay, we're never going to do this again. This is the scary, and we almost lost a ramp, and what if we lost it? Oh my gosh. Okay, so fast forward to, I think I'm saying it was a Sunday, maybe 2 years ago, maybe, hopefully. And we were leaving Jeff's house in New Jersey, and we live in Pennsylvania, so we had to go. I think we had the Civic in tow because that's when you were keeping
it off.
No, I think that's when you were
had it for something because we towed the Citroen. You had the Civic. We had to take it back.
Okay, I think that's when I did the windshield.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, it's one of those times so that you were housing the Civic for us. So we left, we did, tied it down, made sure everything was okay, headed over the Walt Whitman Bridge, if you're familiar with this area. And there's a whole lot of roads that have no shoulders. It's 2 lanes both ways, real tight.
Highway through a city.
Yeah.
It's a highway through a city. That's what it is, right? So we were in the south part of Philadelphia. I look out my mirror, my side mirror. Yes, born and raised. Thank you. And I watch the ramp slide out of the trailer onto the only place there was a shoulder. And I start freaking out. So I'm like, oh my God, we just lost the ramp. So we had to drive through these back roads, through the city to get back to where the
dirty
trailer
South
ramp
Philly.
was.
Yeah.
Yes, and there's some stories that go along with how bad this was to get back.
Those are over a beer sometime.
Sure.
Well, and those are narrow little roads with those row houses. They're like right up on the sidewalk, and that's
where the
rugged.
story goes. Yes. So we had to backtrack to get it. Fortunately, it was on the shoulder. If it was on the road, cars would have taken themselves
destroyed
out.
themselves.
A busload of nuns and orphans would have perished in your hand.
Right? And we felt so bad. It was such a stressful thing. So make sure your pins, when you put the pins back in the little doors closed, put the pin in and make sure the loop is behind the pin and you're actually closing the door. Okay? So that's good. So there's my couple of my horror stories. So I'm a beginner at towing. I taken the truck and trailer with brush to the brush pile across town. I've towed the Civic on the highway, which is pretty light. The Civic is light, so it's not a big deal. But most of my trailering has been with a boat trailer because Chris takes the boat out of the water and he goes with the boat in the water, and I have to take the trailer back to home. Empty boat trailer, yeah. And I've had to back it into where the house is. So the first time I had to do it, it took me about 30 times. Up, back, forward, back, up, to wrong angle.
It's harder
forward,
than you
back,
think. It's way hard.
Yeah. So, but the last time I did it, it only took me about 2 or 3 tries. So, and I got it exactly where I wanted to put it. So it takes time. Start on easy road, straight places, somewhere where you don't have to back or do anything quickly.
And if you get in trouble when you're backing, like things are not going well, just stop. Pull forward until you're straight and start again. That's all.
Yep. Good choice.
Absolutely, yeah.
Mental, you got stuff to say? Because I got a few things here, but
I got all kinds. If you can do it wrong, I've done it. Now, the one thing I've actually never had is anything fall off my trailer, and I think that comes from my aviation background because I walk around and I literally wiggle everything, and it's just a habit of checking.
We do that now.
Kind of stuff. It is because you bring to any situation what you know, but there's a ton of stuff I didn't know. So for a little while, I had a single axle utility trailer that I was using to haul cars. This is a horrible idea. One of my biggest ones, and it goes to Chris's story about tongue weight, is I had a BMW 6 Series on a single axle utility trailer being towed by a Hyundai Santa Fe. I have never been more terrified at 45 miles an hour when that car started pushing my Hyundai to the point where I'm up on 3 wheels.
Oh,
at 45
no.
miles an hour because it was and because I didn't have it balanced correctly. And I thought that a good trailer load looked like it was level instead of actually having a little bit of squat in the back of your vehicle. So I've learned a lot of lessons the hard way. Every time I had to haul my Porsche anywhere, it got backed onto the trailer because the engine's in the back on purpose. You can never have enough good high quality tie downs. And if you think one of your tie downs is suspect, go buy another one replacement. They're cheap and the consequences for them failing are expensive. So just buy tie downs. Always have a bunch of them kicking around in the back of your truck. Chris, you got something about those.
Yeah, you don't ever want to get passed by your car when you're towing.
No.
Now, I haven't been passed by my car, but I have been passed by my trailer wheel that fell off on the way to the Grassroots Motorsports Challenge in 2007.
Chris's race car wheel passed him. But sorry.
No, it's and again now just every time I've moved, I've always hauled a car or I've had a utility trailer. I've always been hauling loads and loads and loads of stuff. The scariest thing in the world, and it's happened to me twice, is almost losing a wheel either on your tow vehicle or on your trailer. So every time you stop for fuel, take your hand, go over there and just hold it near the center hub of the trailer. If you feel a lot of heat, you've got a problem, stop. Do not go. Problems don't solve themselves. They're not biological organisms, and they will not heal. You've got a problem, and it is going to get catastrophically worse in about 1/4 of the time that you think it's going to get. So just that you can't take any chances because the payoff is very limited, and the cost is always huge. Chris, you've got a couple things.
Do that on the tires too. I usually touch the back of my hand to the tire tread as well as the hub, just to make sure that all 4 of them are even. And then every time you stop for gas, give everything a shake, like tighten your tie down straps. Make sure all your pins are still in. Make sure everything's still there.
Yep. Go kick your trailer hitch. Make sure all your cotter pins are holding all that stuff in. Kick
Just look at it.
Kick it.
Yeah,
Kick it.
okay. No problem. Cool. I'll go now. I'm going to skip this stuff about what kind of trailer you should get, but I'm just going to talk a little bit about loading all the other stuff. Like if you have a flatbed trailer like Chris and Chrissy have, you need to put all that stuff somewhere in the truck. And, when you're looking at vehicle weights, you just have to realize that those vehicle weights include the gear that you're putting back in there. So mind what you're doing to your truck and your trailer, how you're loading all the other stuff. There's a reason that I got my enclosed trailer, and it's because I tow with an RV. And I can't put all of my tools and all of my greasy, fuel-y bottles into my parents' RV, so I got an enclosed trailer.
Or you do anyway, but there's that.
Because
they might be listening.
They might be
don't
listening.
smell nearly as bad as you're driving.
I mean, actually, we took most of them in the Civic, so that's a thing.
But because we had the RV. So I just want to mention that, you need to really take care of what else you are taking. I want to mention that RVs do have tow ratings. They are usually not nearly as high as you think, but RVs make great tow vehicles. I know Mental has towed a lot with his RV. I tow a lot with my parents' RV. They're really long. They're heavy duty. So, it makes a difference. But you have to be careful because most states have a limit to the legal length that you can drive. Most states have it between 60 and 65 feet. In New Jersey, it is 50 feet. Of course, right? So if you have a 35-foot RV, which is not a huge RV, Mental, how long is yours?
29. Yeah,
29.
It's a class C.
Really?
Got a class A.
The class, so our class A is I think 37. My trailer is 20, so I'm probably over the legal full length because it's not just like, when they say it's a 20-foot trailer, that's the size of the box, not including the tongue and all those other things. So
that's why Bruce and Greg downsized the trailer from the 26 they had to the 20 because it fits just behind Greg's RV, and they are exactly at like 64 feet and 11 and a half inches.
Yeah, and he has a full 40 or 42, so he's diesel pusher. His RV is it's the Mac Daddy of RVs. Go, man.
But also Bruce's trailer doesn't adhere to the laws of physics. It's like Felix the cat. It's his hat. That's why they call it the magic trailer.
We call it the TARDIS. It's like, hey, where'd that come from? Look, a dinosaur. I do want to mention two very, really great places to find information. Good Sam Camping Club has a ton of trailering information. And the other thing is trailerlife.com. GoodSamCamping.com is where I found the size limits. And TrailerLife.com has the towing guides.
TrailerLife.com could go so many different ways.
Trailer.
Hey! I don't find that funny. I don't find that funny at all. Y'all mocking my people up in here.
You want some liquor ball sandwiches?
Liquor ball sandwiches?
No liquor ball sandwiches. TrailerLife.com has all of the trailer towing guides. So you can look up.
We'll throw those up on the Facebooks too. We'll put those on the Facebook.
But it has the tow rating of pretty much every vehicle that you could possibly want to tow with. That's the end of my stuff. What else we got? Anyone else got anything on trailering?
We've got a ton of stuff on trailering, and if you've got questions, put it on Facebook, send us a private message, get a hold of us on Instagram, Twitter, email to everyone.racers@gmail.com, all that other kind of stuff. There is encyclopedias of information about trailering, and if there's a mistake to be made, I would bet that one of the four of us have made it, and we'll talk to you about it. We'll be more than happy to talk to you about it. We could fill up 2 more shows with this, but I feel like if I look at the clock on the wall,
it's time for everyone's favorite part of the show.
Everyone's favorite part of the show. It's just the
tip. Yay! Tip. Okay, so our tip this week is angle grinder safety. So you may think, why are we doing that? But there's some good stories. Jeff's favorite tool, right? So there's a couple stories that go along with this.
I thought mental was Jeff's favorite tool. I'm sorry.
Okay, so this is going to lead us into 2 different stories that we've learned the hard way. Okay, so before you even turn it on, make sure it's unplugged before you're putting the wheel on, because you're going to manhandle it and you're going to yes, Jeff's shaking his head seriously, because if you accidentally turn it on, you'll just cut your hands off. So that sounds terrible. So when you start to use it, don't put your body in line with the wheel. If the wheel were to shatter, then pieces will blow out ever. Yeah, more on that in a little bit. So make sure you keep your guards on. So, right, this is debatable, but if I'm telling you the safest way to do it, you should do that. Use it at your own discretion. You should really use the handles, which we actually do. Switch to the sides if you have if you're able to do that. And depending on which way the sparks are flying, it's a easy way to do it, and gives you a little bit more grip. Keep a good stance when you're cutting. Make sure that you have good footing and you're not going to, because sometimes when you hit the metal, it kind of flips all over the place, and you don't want it to flip back at you. And lastly, if you're cutting metal, you're cutting with the metal with the fiber, and the metal gets very hot. And when you're done, if you try to pick it up, you might burn yourself, which I have done multiple times. So use pliers, thick gloves to pick it up, or just wait, or pick it up and then scream bloody murder and then run into the house, which is what I do.
Which we've all done.
Before we get to the horror stories, I want to mention that you're not really cutting metal with the fiber disc. You're melting it in a straight line.
Okay.
It really goes to show how hot it gets and why it gets that hot.
Yes.
You're literally melting the material.
That's what I was getting at. So thanks for breaking that down. Okay, so mental, you have a story, and then Chris has a story.
So about the safety guards, and you mentioned it can go both ways. It's not so much a cutoff wheel or a grinder, but a cutoff wheel, pneumatic cutoff wheel in my garage. We were building a cage for my second Lemons car. Right after I went racing with you guys, I bought a Miata and we built a Lemons car out of it. We were doing that. I picked up the cutoff wheel in my garage where my friend had been working on it, and it had just a small fiber disc, and I wasn't even cutting anything with it. I was seeing if I had air pressure. As I touched it, the disc fell apart, and half of it lodged itself in my neck. Now, it was basically taking a punch in the neck. Yeah, it was like taking a punch in the head. I got dizzy. I got unconscious, but I realized, because we're making a roll cage, there are sharp pieces of pointy metal all jabbed up around me. So I squatted down, and I'm holding my hand to my bloody neck. And my friend Brandon goes, "Hey, are you okay?" And I was just trying, in case I was going to pass out, not to impale myself and make it worse. Now, that's one piece of, so I don't pick up any sort of cutting, spinning device that doesn't have a guard on it. I'm sorry. And if I can't make it cut, spin, or grind with a guard on it, then I come at it from a different angle or I get a different tool, because I don't need to be doing it. And the second piece of safety advice on that, folks, is especially you folks that are married, if you ever have the opportunity to walk into your kitchen, look at your spouse with a bloody hand clasped to your throat and ask where the Band-Aids are, don't do that. That's always.
This is a great segue into Chris's story.
Oh, yeah.
Let's do this.
I'm going to tell you why it's important to be safe and keeping a good stance and a good hold on your tools. So, right before we were leaving for, I think, our second or third Lemons race, we needed to get the Civic on the trailer. All right, I just replaced the water heater in our house that day as an emergency replacement, because right before we were going to go, of course, our water heater blows. So everything was at a rush. And our trailer we keep with one of those little locks that just goes up. It was into the ball and around the top of the tongue. And hi, kitty.
Oh, gosh.
And
hello, shaky dog.
Yep.
Shaky dog and cats all day.
So, but the thing is, I lost the key. I couldn't find the key to the lock. I don't know where it went. So, and I'm in a rush. We got to go. We got to get to the track. So I grab the angle grinder with a cutoff wheel and start going to town, cutting off the guard or the.
But
the
how were
bar.
you standing?
I wasn't paying any attention. I was in a hurry. So I started
always a mistake.
hauling my way through this thing, and I'm getting most of the way through, and all of a sudden it binds up, and it ends up shooting the tool right out of my hands toward the ground onto my foot. And it just slams into my foot.
On your sneaker-shod foot, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I had a sneaker on. Fortunately, I didn't have flip-flops that day, so that was good.
It didn't matter. Actually, It didn't matter.
So it slams in my foot, and I said, oh, man, and it starts bouncing around, of course, because it is. So I unplug it and get it. So, well, that sucked. I put a new blade on it. I keep cutting. I finished cutting the thing. My foot hurts.
Harden up.
And my foot keeps hurting. Like, usually when I hurt myself, it doesn't keep hurting this long. So I pulled my foot out of my shoe, and my sock is totally crimson. I said, oh, God damn it. And so
There goes our E. Come on, Chris.
I limp my way back to the house, and I go to this first step of the garage. I open the door, and I hop up, and I go, ah. So Chrissy,
and I'm like, we're busy. Like, what do you want?
I take my foot out of my shoe, and I hold it out.
It's still attached.
Right.
Harden up.
Right? That's what I said.
Yeah. So
no, then you laid down and put it up above your head, and we're like, stitches, maybe, probably. No, we don't have time for that. Let's go.
Time for that. So we just put some quick wound closures on, some tape. I lay down for about 15 minutes with my foot above my head to stop the bleeding, and then we kept loading and made it to the race. And I just had to be really gentle putting my shoes on that weekend.
I remember seeing that.
Yeah.
I'm going to actually switch it up a little bit because another dangerous part of the angle grinder is actually the wire wheel. If you're using a wire wheel, and wire wheels are great, they do a lot of good job on rust removal, sound deadening removal, glue removal, but whenever you use them, just know that they are throwing little pieces of wire at you direction.
Yep.
You're going to find little pieces of wire in your clothes, in your hair, everywhere, gloves. Wear eye protection anytime you touch the angle grinder.
Dear God, yes. But
it is still the best tool in the shop. I'm not going to mention his name, but it's Ray. He came over. He was working at our house at Chris and Chrissy's house, and he was standing like 12 feet away from the angle grinder, like leaning as far as he can while he operated it on a piece of sheet metal. And I basically grabbed him by the scruff of his neck, kind of like you guys are doing with your dogs and cats right now. And I held the angle grinder up at full speed, and I like patted the wheel with my glove. And I was like, it's not going to hurt you. Stand next to it, stand normal, and just pay attention to what you're doing. Because I think the easiest way to hurt yourself with a tool is being so frightened that you're not watching, you're not paying attention.
I like that.
Yeah,
that's
true.
No,
that's
so
that's
you
legit.
have to treat it with respect, but you have to stay near it.
Now,
good.
That is an excellent point. And I will remind all of our listeners, if you catch us at a race and you come and ask us to see our scars, Chris's foot scar, my neck scar, Jeff's hand scars, any of that kind of stuff, not only will we show you our scars, and it's totally G-rated, we'll also give you an E1R sticker. But looking at the old clock on the wall, Chrissy, what are we staring at, a 102?
Yep,
just keep going.
So we're wrapping
let's close this up.
So you have wasted another hopefully good commute.
That's somebody else's. You can't say that. Thank you for downloading us. We hope you enjoyed this week's bloody sock-filled edition of F1 Racers. We also hope you'll join us in the world of driving, racing, and building, because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. If you have any questions about how you can screw up your tow vehicle or want to give us some show ideas, drop us a comment on our Facebook
or good stories. Page. We like them too.
Absolutely. Everyone Racers. Or like our race team Facebook page, 3 Pedal Mafia Lemons Race Team. If you'd like to help us produce the show, donate to the cause at patreon.com/Everyone Racers, and we'll mention your name, just like we do to Chrissy's mom. Thanks again, and until next week, keep the shiny side up. Unless you're like us and the GDO man and there is no shiny side, then just keep the wheels down.